Story. In the last few years, there has been a sharp rise in book bans. According to the American Library Association, more than 5,000 books and titles were targeted in 2023. That number, a 65% increase from the year before. Schools and parents say they're targeting what they call explicit content, while critics say it's just heavy-handed censorship.
We're not saying the library can't buy a book that we don't like it or we think is somehow not appropriate for kids. We're just saying that a parent needs to be involved.
We already have policies in place that actually address these very concerns. When you centralize this type of proviso, this type of policy, you are again taking away local parental control from local families, and you're trying to make it a one-size-fits-all for the state of South Carolina, and that's not how any state should operate.
Now, you just heard from South Carolina Senator Josh Kimbrell and Angela Craig, president of the state's Library Association. This was their reaction to a new state mandate that went into effect last week, restricting which books can be on the shelves in public libraries. Titles representing the voices and lived experiences of the LGBTQ community and people of color actually made up 47% of those targeted censorship attempts in 2023. Now, here in Charlotte, local librarian Rodney Freeman, he's working on a documentary sharing the untold stories of Black librarians, past and present, who push to keep diverse books accessible to everyone. It's titled, Are You a Librarian? Our Natisha Lance has tonight's cover story.
Are you a librarian?
It's a question Rodney Freeman has been asked countless times over his 14-year career as a librarian.
What was your vision of a librarian prior to entering into this field?
You know, that is a great question because I didn't have a vision of a librarian.
Maybe that's what propelled Freeman to this point as the digital production librarian at the University of North Carolina, Charlotte. It's a role not usually held by someone like him, Black and male.
It's been rocky at points. You're dealing with politics, you're dealing with microaggressions, you're dealing with racism, you're dealing with this thought that Black men, Black people are not smart. And so you have to overcome that hurdle.
In 2023, the U.S. Bureau of Labor reported only 7% of librarians were Black. Those numbers is part of what put Freeman on a mission to tell the story of fellow Black librarians, past and present.
I want people to know the history of Black librarianship. I want people to know the importance of librarianship. I want people to know the power of diversity and inclusion. You know, and knowing that all stories, you know, matter and have a place at the table.
I'm a Black librarian.
Freeman's documentary, Are You a Librarian?, aims to reveal the contributions Black librarians have made to the field while also having to overcome barriers.
How do Black librarians contribute differently to the profession?
I'm glad you asked that question. Activism, resilience.
While the number of Black people in librarianship is small, the ones in it have made a great impact, like Carla Hayden, the Librarian of Congress, and Meredith Evans, director of the Jimmy Carter Presidential Library.
There are many people who think that Black librarians have not contributed to this profession. But once you uncover the history and understand how librarianship worked in America and how Black librarianship is very unique because it was born out of resistance, I felt like that was the perfect segue into this.
Natisha Lance for On Your Side Tonight.
Natisha, thank you. Now, Freeman, now in the editing phase of his documentary, plans to release it in June of next year.